All right, we're live. I'm going to be sharing an awesome tool that I love using with virtual reality, and that is Nearpod. I tried Nearpod years ago and hadn't really went back to it until I heard that they are implementing the 360 portion within the app. So it's super cool, super easy, and I'm going to just walk you through step by step real quick on why I think it's a great tool to have. So I'm going to start screen sharing right now. I'm going to go over to Nearpod to my account where my library is, and then I'm going to show you on my device what that looks like for a student as well. So let me go ahead and start screen sharing. All right. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to minimize this screen, and I'm going to show you over here at Nearpod what this looks like. Okay, so on my end, I have my library of different apps that I'm using. Over here, you can see some of the apps that I'm using for virtual reality, augmented reality. And then on the left-hand side is the library in Nearpod. And I'm just going to take one of these lessons that I created, which was really easy. All I had to do is create new, and I just pulled in a couple 360s, and I pulled in a couple different activities. So here I'm going to go to live lesson or student pace. Live lesson means that I control what is happening on each slide as the educator, or you could do student pace, so it's just whatever time they join in, they're able to join in and get to whatever slide they want to. They transition on their own. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what it looks like if I'm doing this as a whole class instruction, and I'm going to open up my Nearpod app. I'm going to go to Explore as the student, and then I'm just going to type in join as a student. I'm going to type in that code that I see because my teacher is going to be sharing that with me. So if I choose join, I now have access to look at that. So I'm going to enlarge this, make that our screen. I have to type in my name here. I'm going to send that, and here I am. Okay, so as the person that is, and I'm just going to shrink this up a little bit so you can see on my end, I'm going to be controlling what that looks like. Just want to make sure we have a good view on both sides, but I'm going to be controlling what the students are seeing right now because my student cannot actually touch and look at anything else. They can't click and drag anything on their screen. But for me, I can transition to the next screen, which will then show up on their side. So they will answer, have you ever played with virtual reality before? And they could say, nope, not at all, very little, or yes. And so maybe they're going to say yes, very little. They're going to send it through. Yes, that is my answer. And then at that side, you'll see that Jamie then has responded, and she gave C as her answer. So on my end as a teacher, I'm not necessarily showing these results, although I typically show this when I'm sharing it with teachers. But it's a great way to have that immediate feedback. I'm going to transition to say mobile devices work great, but on a computer it can be really tricky, especially a MacBook. Seems to be working better on a Windows device, but you'll see on my view it could be tricky trying to use the 360, whereas on a mobile device it just looks better. So here, sometimes that screen just remains black. It doesn't transition on my end, but I can go in and click and drag and look around, right? But for the student, they're able to lift up their device, turn to the right, turn to the left, and look around at this scene. And so they can go up here and they can say, oh, wow, this is amazing. Look where we're at. Wow, how we're all there. They can look at it through cardboard up top, and they can have these experiences. And most importantly for me isn't just the experience, but it's really getting them to look with intent. That means they know that they should be having a purpose in viewing. And so asking questions in between is an important part of that. So I might say, where do you think you went? They could say the Taj Mahal, Eiffel Tower. So I'm going to say Taj Mahal and send it. And on my end, as the educator, I could look and say, nope, they got that one wrong. But it would be a nice way of getting that answer back to my students and gathering the data that I need to see why they got that wrong. What did you experience in that? What made you think you were in the Taj Mahal? And so maybe that could be a time for them to say, well, I didn't get it at all. And so that would be a good lead-in conversation, and you can look at the whole class instruction. So here's a student now snorkeling, So they have a chance. You can see the quality of that video is pretty good and precise. They can snapshot that. So if they want to send that back to their teachers, maybe give an example and or pull it into a presentation, whatever they need to do. But I love that it has that feature. And then again, you're watching with intent. You know that you're going to be asked questions. So maybe there's a memory test here. I did something a little fun and goofy with this, but you could, in fact, have something here that would be purposeful for your students. So that would be great because apparently I'm not good at memory games here, but that would be great because you can have your students maybe even tie in the word with an image from something that they just experienced so that they're tying in the vocabulary to a true experience. Then the next location allows them to go and explore. And in fact, you're going to say, you know, here, instead of telling me necessarily where you're at, I'm going to tell you where you're at, but you're going to have to plug in. It was something in the blank. So then I can say it was evening in Australia, which was early. And then I can go through and then I could say, all right, I'm done. And once I'm done, it says, yeah, you got it right, or nope, you got some of those wrong. But it will help you as the educator to look back that they're kind of pulling that in. And all I did was type in a sentence and click on what words I wanted to be popped out. Could not have been any more simple. So then we can go through, but you can see every one of these experiences that are just phenomenal. The kids, the teachers, everybody that I've shown this to just loves it, loves to be engaged, okay? And so it was just a great experience, and everybody loves trying to figure out where they're at, and they talk about it, and they're trying to see who's who's going to get it. And so here, the objective is for them to draw a star where they think they went, and I have seen this at times, which was really brilliant. So maybe they're covering a general area and, they're saying, all right, well, you didn't say how big the star needed to be. And so that's a great way of getting them to tie in the location of where they're experiencing. And then do you plan? So here I just kind of went through, asked them to draw me a picture of where they would like to go. And that would be lots of different drawings come in and we talk about it and kind of laugh about it, but it's a great way for students to be a part of that. And then I show this video just to show this first experience for this lady of looking at a VR dinosaur museum. So she was just overwhelmed. And that's often how our kids feel that first go around. That's often how we feel the first go around with virtual reality. So it's just really neat to see, that people can be interactive in the lesson as opposed to just telling answers. Now I'm actually a part of this experience with you. So the teachers then can gather that information, and literally this lesson could take you 10 to 15 minutes to put together. Super fast and very effective way of sharing virtual reality without having to know anything else about VR. Most schools that have this really don't realize that they have the virtual reality yet. So I think it's a fantastic option, and I'm going to stop screen sharing here. And hopefully that will be a tool that you can utilize in the future. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach me at Jamie Donnelly on Twitter. And I'd love to share some resources or even share the student part of this particular lesson with you so you can go back and share with your district if that's something that you think your district would enjoy using in the future. So hopefully that will be helpful. And again, feel free to connect with me if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.